Hello, welcome to Paint by Blunders, a painting tutorial today. Space Wolves, and more specifically the Space Wolf Terminator. Now, as you know, this will lend itself across any model in the range, but I've chosen to do a Space Wolf Terminator because I think the models look fantastic. Now, the colour scheme that I've gone for lends itself more to that dirtier side of the spectrum as opposed to the super clean heavy metal stuff. But I will explain along the way, if you want to keep it one way or the other, how to go less or more depending on your taste. Now, enough of me waffling, let's get to the video. So here we are with our primed miniature. All I've done is use an airbrush and give them a bit of a zenithal. I've not attached the head, but if you are going to go for the classic bull head, then I would just attach it, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to be using the classic sea sponge method, and I'm just going to use a slightly watered down light grey and white, and just basically stipple it all over to create a lovely texture across the armour. You really don't have to do this. You could just use a dry brush, almost like a slap chop sort of method, or you could use a makeup sponge, or you could just not do it and just leave it as a zenithal highlight. But I like the subtle markings it leaves on the armour, because when I get around to colouring the armour, a little bit is left underneath and it makes it look a little bit worn and battle damaged. And for the hard to reach places with this, I literally just use a tear off small version of the sea sponge, or just cut it away and just use some tweezers and just try and poke it in those hard to reach areas. And here I just want to show you one of those small makeup sort of eggs on one of the other Terminators in the box, and just to show you how you could just sort of stipple it away like that, and the effect it gives is slightly different. So for our actual armour colour, this mix is 50-50 Space Wolves Grey along with a little bit of Frostheart, and that is just to sort of bolster the blue in the Space Wolves Grey without it being too bright. You don't have to apply it with an airbrush, but if you do apply it with a brush, I would highly recommend using a bit of medium just to water it down a bit further, because as you know, airbrush puts things on a little bit thinner than the old brush. And once that is dry, I'm just coming back in with Fenrisian Grey, and I'm just going to dry brush over the armour quite heavily just to catch those edges. And the reason why I'm doing it slightly heavier and a bit more brutal than some dry brushes might is because I don't mind the odd little scratch that it leaves on the armour. I would also come in with a fine detail 0 brush, or smaller or bigger, whatever you feel comfortable doing fine lines with, and just doing the odd manual sort of scratch on the armour as well, and a little bit of edge highlighting at this stage as well. Next up, I'm going to be using Black Legion for all of the black areas, mainly sort of the under sort of exosuit. And also, if this was one of the Terminators with a weapon, I would also be using it to do sort of the casing as well. I'm also going to do the pipework and the necklace on this Terminator. If you are new here, do please consider subscribing, commenting, liking, sharing, all of those things. I know it sounds boring and I know everyone says this, but it does help the channel out more than you know. Now, one optional step to really give a little bit more definition to the armour is to use a pin wash. Now, you could use a black pin wash, you could use a brown pin wash, any sort of enamel oily wash is fantastic for this. I personally love using Paynes Grey. It's sort of a really bluey grey, and I think it just lends itself to this sort of frosty armour that I'm sort of trying to go for. If you've never mixed up your own pin wash before, it's very easy. It's just a little bit of mineral spirit in with your oil paint, mixing it to sort of a wash consistency, but you can always test it on an old bit of sprue just to see how it flows to make it thicker or thinner. I will be doing a full video on how to use oils for pin washing, and also to highlight weapons and armor for glows. So we're going to tackle the metallics next. I'm using Pro Acrylic's bronze for all of the golden areas because although it's bronze, it has a very golden tone. For the silvers, I'm using Pro Acrylic again, simply using steel. I'm doing 2 coats of each of these, just going around all the metallic areas of the model. So a few quick and easy steps now. I'm using Burnt Umber by Pro Acrylic, and I'm also using Slate Grey, also by Pro Acrylic, just to pick out any of the leather bits and the stone. I'll also be using Zandri Dust for any of the bone motifs that are hanging from our Terminator. I'm also using this green-brown colour from the Amp series of Pro Acrylic as well. I'm using this to just add a highlight before we do any washing to our leather areas. I really like how this looks by adding a few layers before we wash instead of just doing one layer, completely covering it in a wash and then layering it again. I prefer thinner washes over pre-layered paint. So for the inside of the pelt and sort of the loincloth, I'm going to be using Tuskor Fur. I'm also going to be adding a layer to it again, using once again that green brown. It has a very creamy tone to it, so you can add just a small amount to lighten it up as a layer. Instead of using an entire new colour, I want to use colours that I have on my palette. One of the things I wanted to say, because as I said, this is paint by blunders. And I didn't know for ages whether I wanted to do a yellow shoulder pad, black shoulder pad, or my original intention was just to leave it blue and just forego that and have this lovely chapter because I really like the armour. At this stage, I would start putting in your shoulder colour, no matter what it is. Obviously, you've seen from how this miniature turns out that I do go for yellow. I do tackle that later, but this is a stage I would do it just to save you a bit of aggro from how you see I do it later. Also, with all these little simple little steps to add these tiny details, I do like to layer them before washing them. I just feel once I wash them, it blends them all together a bit more, and I just find it easier if I'm honest. So we're going to start diving into some of these washes. So the metallics, the skull, I'm going to use my favourite contrast paint, which is Rattling Grime. And I always add 50-50 medium to it. And I use this for so many things. I just think it is a lovely, dirty tone. And I use it on so many things as well because I just want it to tie the model together and sort of tie it in its time, whatever planet that is, whatever realm it's in. I just feel uniform washes really help with that. Also, one small optional step, watered down Frostheart Contrast paint on the lightning claws just to add a tiny tint of blue because they're lightning claws and why not, eh? So we're going to start looking at the pelt. Griffin Claw by Two Thin Coats, fantastic brand of paint that I'm fairly new to. Now you may be thinking, why on earth is he jumping from each bit without finishing the last section? It's because while things are drying, I'm trying to be as efficient as possible whilst letting them fully dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to use a little bit of the Griffin's Claw mixed with my Zandri Dust, again because it's on my palette, just to highlight these skulls and these teeth, etc. And I'll use dry brushing as well as traditional layering and edge highlighting. It's also handy to add into our grey just to sort of bring that colour palette together, and it adds a nice highlight. Next up is a few light scratches of light bronze over anywhere we did bronze, and this is just really scratchy, just picking out a few edges just to add where it might have been scratched in battle. Now we are going to come back to our pelt, and I'm going to be using Cygor Brown mixed 50-50 with Agrax Earthshade, and I'm going to apply this just to the bottom of these sort of trophy bits of fur, what I assume are like wolf tails, And then I'm going to water it down even further and apply it all over the pelt itself. And while that's drying, I'm going to quickly apply a couple of coats of grey to our base, ready for later on. Again, I'm just trying to be efficient and jump around the model. So with that wash dry, I'm going to use the Griffin's Claw and just dry brush over all those nice raised areas of fur. Nice and simple. If you don't like it, you can always go back and add another coat of wash to really darken it up, or add some animal patterns. So this is where things went wrong. Winter Streaking Grime I used instead of normal Streaking Grime because I thought, wintry, lovely. It's got a much greener tone, and I was being a bit blasé with adding this battle damage. I love an old crispy brush to apply flecks of battle damage, and I absolutely splattered his knee. And I thought, it's okay, I can sort of use White Spirit on another brush and just wick it away pretty sharpish. That did not happen, and it just stained his kneecap quite badly, which completely changed the outcome of this model and made it way more greeny and sort of weathered it a different way. But I'm really happy with the effect now. At the time, I was a stroppy child and didn't enjoy it one bit. So after that became sort of touch dry, I come back in with a cheap synthetic brush with a good point, with a little bit of spirit on the tip, and I start dragging down on that oil. Now, I got this from Jackson's Art Supply, and it's where I get 99% of my oil supply stuff. I'll put a link to the website in the description. I highly recommend you check it out for any of your oils and enamels. For the gems, really simple. I just come in with bold titanium white, do a couple of coats on that, and then add a red contrast, and then just do the edges of the gems to try and give them a shape, and that is it. Apologies for the state of the footage. My camera thought I wanted to focus on my hand instead of the model. For the face, I like to keep this very simple. Brown Rose from AK Interactive is going to be our base. The key with faces is just do lots of very thin coats. So I'm going to do 2 to 3 coats of this as my base with a very, very small brush. And then I'm going to come in and tackle the hair. Now I'm just going to sort of dry brush, over brush it with bright neutral grey and then bold titanium white, because I'm going to wash it later, but I want it to look a bit of washed out grey. And I didn't want it to be too solid. So once I've done that, I come back in on the flesh, and all I'm doing is adding a little bit of Cadian Fleshtone with every layer to the original base coat until you end up with pure Cadian Fleshtone. And you're just building up the highlights, making it look nice and bright towards sort of the nose and the cheekbones. Now, if you're like me and hate painting eyeballs, one of the things I like to do is go around the eyes with a white oil or a white ink, and then just give them glowing eyes like he's got lightning running through him. And I do that by just adding a small amount of Frostheart. And if you want to take it further, you can just dot the eyes with a little bit of white or blue horror afterwards. And once that's done, I'm coming in with a super, super thin Space Wolves Grey contrast paint, and that just acts as a really washy, dirty grey. I love it for grey hair tones and anything like that. So I got to basing this guy and decided I wanted a yellow shoulder pad. So I pulled out the masking putty from Green Stuff World. This came in clutch because of the amount that I'd painted already. So I took some white, sprayed the shoulder pad, then used a magenta and sprayed over that, come back in with the white again, and then used Imperial Fist over the top. It's a very common way to try and get yellow looking vibrant, and it also adds a bit of orangey reddy tones to the shadows. If you don't like using an airbrush. You could just do this with a brush, you know, the traditional sort of way, by just layering up a light grey sear or a white and then just using Imperial Fist. But I also just want to show you how handy masking putty is to have on your desk. So thank you very much, Green Stuff World. It also came off like an absolute breeze and didn't damage any of the existing paintwork. After this, I decided to put the decal on the shoulder pad. I'm not going to show you how I do it. There are loads of great and better tutorials that teach how to do that. I'm going to assume you know. After that, I did add a little bit of the winter grime just to blend it in. But that is the model finished. But this is the basing sort of side of it. If you want to know how I achieve my bases, I used Dark Earth AK Interactive's texture paint, and then I'm just using a tiny bit of Zandri Dust to dry brush the top of it before I go into adding some pigment. Now with my pigment powders, I always do the same thing where I make sort of a washy slurry instead of just jamming it in as dry pigment, because I feel you waste lots like that and it goes into the air and makes much more of a mess. This stuff, it looks like you're not really putting it on, but you can whack a hairdryer over it and you will see how much it pops as it dries. And you can still sort of brush it away a little bit afterwards while it's still sort of tacky. But this I find is a much better way for me to apply the pigments. It's much like using the liquid pigments from AK Interactive. Now for the snow, I use a little bit of Lahmian Median in my Valhalla Blizzard just to loosen it up, so I can sort of spread it out across the base without it looking like a thick clump, so it looks more like melting snow. And I did deliberately put this on whilst the pigment powder was ever so slightly still wet, so it would stain the bottom of the snow, much like you get brown, dirty snow as it starts to melt. As a finishing touch, I added a couple of bits of grass and used my snow mix and just jammed it in the top to look like fallen snow within the tuff. And there we go, this one is complete. Some nice happy accidents in the end. I am absolutely in love with these new Space Wars models. They have stolen my little heart. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you stuck around for the end, I love you. And hopefully I will see you on the next one.